Okay class, today we're going to look at some measuring and marking out tools specifically for metalworking. Now, the main tool that you're going to use is your steel rule here. As you can see, steel rule 300mm long, marked out in millimetres. Now, this rule is what's called a dead end rule, so we start from zero. There's no extra piece here that you would see in your your plastic rules that you use in maths or something like that. It starts at absolute dead zero. Okay, so steel rule, used for marking out sizes, transferring sizes from your drawings. Also can be used for drawing straight lines. So you can use the edge of the rule, use your scribe and scratch a straight line. Okay, joining up 2 points. Okay, steel rule. Second tool we're going to look at just now is a scriber. Now your scriber is just basically a wee piece of hardened steel, goes to a sharp point, and this is used as the equivalent as your pencil in woodworking. So you're going to use this to scratch marks on your metal to show you where you're going to remove waste or create centre points or anything like that. Okay, so that's your scribe. Generally a nice thinner piece of steel. Don't confuse it with another tool which is very similar, which is this tool here. This tool here, a centre punch. Now if you compare the two, you can see the difference. This one's much chunkier. Okay, it goes to a sharp point as well, and we use that for creating centre points or witness marks as well. So showing us areas where we're going to remove material. Now, if we take a piece of material like this, piece of steel, we can use that to create a centre punch here. Now I'll cover centre punches in a wee bit more detail later when we look at specific tools. But basically, you place this on the metal, you hit it, a quick tap with a hammer creates a dent in the metal. Okay, so that's what that's for. That's your centre punch. Other tool you're going to use, obviously, is your engineer's square. Now, this is used to mark lines square to an edge. Okay, at 90 degrees. So if you have a piece of steel and you want to mark a line square, you use this tool. Now it's got to be held tight. This is the stock here and the blade. Now it has to be kept tight. That way is the only way you can draw a square line. You can't use it like this, you can't use it like that. It's no good unless it's kept tight against here. Now it's also a 90-degree angle inside, which allows you to check metal for square. So you can hold your metal there and see if you've got a nice square edge to that as well. Okay, so engineer's square. Another tool we use a lot is this tool here. These are spring dividers. Now, as you can see, they've got a spring at the top, and then this wheel here adjusts. Now you can wind that and it moves the 2 points. Okay, now we can use that to set out sizes or measure sizes. So we could set, if we want to set a size at say 20mm, you would wind that until the two legs hit exactly 20mm. Now you can draw a circle with that. Now that's going to be your radius size. So if I use that to draw a circle, that's going to give me a 40mm circle. You can also use it for doing arcs, and you can also use it for stepping out multiple sizes. So for talking sake, you have a piece of metal, say we want to step out some sizes, let's say 50mm, 55mm, something like that, okay? So say we set it at 55. Now imagine I've got a big strip of metal here and I want to mark out loads of 55s. Now rather than having to count that every time, I can go mark, 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 and I can step those sizes out much more accurately than measuring them individually. So that's your spring dividers. Okay, similar to a compass, but a compass would have, say, a pencil attached to one leg here. This has got two pins. Okay, another tool that we use for giving us sizes are these here. Now these are odd leg calipers, or sometimes people call them jennies. Now you can see when you open it up, you've got a spur here and you've got this wee stepped area here. Now that wee stepped area is important because that allows you to hold it against the edge of a piece of metal. You can then rub that up and down your metal to a set size. Again, you would use your rule to set that size depending on how much you want to make it. So that's set about 15-16mm. Okay, so odd leg calipers for marking lines parallel to an edge or a face if it was a thicker piece of metal. Okay, so you just repeatedly mark that to create your parallel lines. Now you can see that it's very difficult to see the actual marks on this because it's scratching it, but it's not really putting a great mark. So what we do to help us with that is we use a compound called Engineer's Blue. Now this is a paste. You get other ones that come as a liquid and you brush them on. Okay, so a bit messy, but it helps to create an area so that you can mark your metal more easily. Now this piece here, I've done half in Engineer's Blue and half I've left just as the plain metal. Now if I was to put a mark here, very difficult to see. Whereas this piece that's been Engineer's Blue applied, what I can do is, if I scratch that, you can see how the line is much easier to see. Okay, so that's your Engineer's Blue, which you apply either with your finger or a brush or something, and that allows you to clearly mark out areas that you want to remove or create circles from or whatever. Okay, so while I've got this here, I'm going to show you what I was talking about with this centre punch. So I've got a centre punch here for the centre of a circle. Now if I take my dividers, spring dividers, and I put that point there, that allows me to spin the calipers to create either a circle or an arc. Now that ensures that the calipers don't slip. The dividers, sorry, don't slip. If I try to do it on the bare metal, the chances are it would slide. This would move all over the place, right? It's not going to stick in, right? But when it's in there, it sticks in that wee dent, and that allows me to draw my arc freely. Now your centre punch is also there to indicate if you're going to drill a hole, because if you brought your drill down onto the bare metal without an indicator of where it was going to be, the chances are the drill would slide all over the place and end up drilling it inaccurately. So using your centre punch to create that wee hole there, wee dent there, allows you to drill a hole exactly where you want it to go. Okay. The two other tools that we use, a bit less common, but one of them here is outside calipers. Now these are used to calculate sizes of an outside size of a piece of bar. So say perhaps you're on the lathe and you're turning a piece of bar to a size. Now here's a wee narrow piece here. Now what you can do is, if you hold your calipers here until they just pass, that allows you then to measure it, and you can measure it using your rule, and it's telling me that that's about a 10mm bar. Okay, it's not as accurate as digital calipers or vernier calipers, but it gives you a good chance of getting a size. Okay, now its partner are these ones here. These are called inside calipers, and you see they've got two wee feet, looks like a pair of legs, two wee feet there, and these are for measuring the inside sizes of, say, a piece of bar or something like that. So I've got a hollow size here, and I use them by sliding them out until they touch both sides. Okay, now if you try to measure this with a rule, you're never going to get the exact size unless your rule goes through exactly in the centre. You're never going to get the correct size, so that's why you use these. Okay, so you move that out, just touching, and that then allows you to take your steel rule and measure your size there. Okay, so that's coming in at 49mm. Now, a more modern piece of kit that we can use are these digital calipers. Okay, so when you switch them on, make sure they're zeroed. Sometimes they're a wee bit off. Okay, so always bring it back to the zero, and you can see sometimes it creates a different size. So make sure they're tight, press 0, and make sure you've got the calibration correct. Now this is in millimetres. If I press that, it makes it in inches. Now an inch and a millimetre are two completely different things. So make sure when you're setting it, you're using it for the calibration that you want. Okay. Now, these are used to check sizes much more accurately. So if we slide that back, you can then use that there to check the diameter of that piece of steel, piece of aluminium. So that's 9.59mm. Now at this end we have outside calipers, so we can actually use that if we slide it back. Now when I measured it with the digital with the outside calipers, I got 49. Now if I check that much more accurately, you can see it's 47.78, so nearly 48mm. So this is a much more accurate piece of kit than the old traditional stuff. Okay, so use these. These are very delicate, not to be abused, so take your time while you're using them. Now, this wee wheel here locks it in place, so that makes sure it doesn't move. So if you were checking multiple sizes, you could use that. Okay, and then use your wheel for fine adjustment to get to a size if you want to mark out certain sizes. Okay, that's your fine adjuster wheel here. You can of course slide it up and down with your finger. Okay, so these are for inside sizes. It's inside inside the hole, sorry, or the outside size. You can use it like that. Bring them together, and it's going to give you an accurate size over, say, a circle. Now, it doesn't have to be circles. You can use it for plate steel as well. So if I bring this in, make sure it's touching. That tells me that that piece of steel there is just slightly over 30 millimeters, and the thickness, again, 5.87 millimeters. And I could check it using it for length as well. So all the sizes are there. Okay, 83.4. So that's your digital calipers. As I say, be careful with these. Make sure they're zeroed. You can see there's a slight difference there. So I press that to zero it. Make sure it's checked all the time. Make sure your millimeters are in place, and be careful with it. Turn it off when you're not using it. It will go off in a minute. And then store them in the box they come with, because they're a very, very delicate and accurate piece of kit. You don't want to be damaging it. So, quick recap of the tools. Steel rule for measuring and transferring sizes and drawing straight lines. Odd leg calipers for transferring lines that are parallel to a face or edge. Engineer's square for checking right angles or transferring angles at 90 degrees to a face or an edge. Inside calipers for checking the diameter of holes inside pipes, something like that. Outside calipers, again, using that to check the outside diameter of a pipe or a bar. Spring dividers, used to draw arcs and curves and step out multiple sizes. Centre punch, for creating exactly that, a centre punch for a drill hole, or for using your calipers in, or for creating witness marks. And your scribe, used as the same as you would use a pencil in woodworking. And then to help you mark and see, mark out material so you can see the marks, engineer's blue. Now, as I say, it comes in a paste, or you can get it in a liquid form and you brush it onto the metal and leave it to dry. Okay guys, so that's your basic measuring and marking out tools for metalwork.